whatever it is that you value and you're practicing and you're good at and you're putting time into and you're putting energy into, you're putting effort into, you're putting intention into, imagine if there was a conference for the people who did what you did. You know how much you'd be valued? Even if you were behind other people in terms of your results, you'd be valued so much.
Think about how those 5 people treat you. We haven't lashed out once. We've never once said you can't do it. We've never once said it was stupid. We've never once made fun of you behind your back. We've never been cruel to you. We've never been unjust to you. We've never lashed out or been triggered. We just want to see you win. And energetically, you know that.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1759, you'll never be valued in certain places. I'm having a very weird month, and we're only, I don't know, what are we, 9 days into July? I'm kind of struggling, Alan, you know, where I went and spoke to Evan's group in Toronto last month, and I spoke to his group on the 4th of July, and then I'm doing calls with a lot of them after because I offered everybody a free call, and when I jump on Zoom, they're all so respectful and so amazing, and they value me at such a high level, and it's weird for me to feel that.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
I haven't told Kevin this, and now we're live. I was on a podcast earlier with an awesome woman named Guinevere. She wants to pick your brain on podcasting. I sent her your link. So that'll be a free half hour, and she's awesome.
Awesome.
Big fan.
I dig it. I'm excited.
Speaking of being valued, she asked me if she could talk to you.
How did she know about me?
She interviewed me today, and I talked about you.
Me? You
Yeah.
talk about me a lot when I'm not around? I love that.
It depends what you think. What'd you say?
I said I love that. I
Yeah,
talk
of
about you
course
all
I
the
do.
time.
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, good things. Mostly good things.
Yep. I would
Very
say
often it's good things.
95% excellent things.
So I appreciate that. Awesome. I'm looking
of
forward to
course.
talking. Today I went on a podcast, and this was a podcast about podcasting. I love those. I love podcasts about podcasts. It's awesome. And the guy literally listened to every single episode of Podcast Growth University. And he was a wonderful, wonderful host who was just curious and excited to talk, and just Dave. His name was Dave. Great, great human. And I felt so valued. And this is the sad, challenging truth of this. There are some rooms where you will never, ever, ever be valued at the rate you should, because the people in the rooms don't value what you've gotten good at, and they don't value what you value. And when you do enter those rooms, it's going to be weird. At least that's been my experience. It's very weird. It was weird. He was like, on episode 102, you talked about this. It was just very strange. And I enjoyed it very much. A great human. I wrote this down, and I told Alan I was going to say this. You can either change the people around you. So you can change Alan. I can try to change Alan. Right? Alan's the people around me. Or
I'd
you
love
can
to see you try.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it. I'm successful. Or you can change the people around you.
One more time.
The whole thing, or just the second half? The second half's the same as the first.
The whole thing.
Okay.
The whole thing.
You can either change the people around you. So the 5 people you spend the most time with, you can go and say, I'm going to change all 5 of these people. I'm going to change your opinion. I'm going to change what you value. I'm going to change the way you look at me. Or you can change the people around you by saying, I'm not going to spend as much time with these 5 people because I don't think they're ever going to value me at the rate I desire to be valued. And if anything is a lesson from this journey with you and I talking to so many people and being in different communities and having different mentors and peak performance partners, I don't know if someone can really, truly value you unless they value all the effort you're putting into what you value. Or at least maybe you just won't feel it. You won't feel it. The people who value me the highest are people who are podcasters, who want to be successful podcasters and NLU family members who have been listening to us and find that we add value to their lives. But when I leave that echo chamber, when I go to the supermarket, I'm not valued necessarily. Or when I go to the car wash or when I go to get my oil changed, I'm not valued necessarily. Now, again, I think that's normal. I don't expect the people at the car wash to be like, yo, you're a successful you're Kevin? You're Kevin Palmieri? Holy Lloyd Christmas. Can I get an autograph? I don't expect that. But that's just the thought that was going through my mind based on the various rooms I've had the pleasure and privilege to be in recently.
We were on group coaching earlier, and I swallowed my drink wrong. I'm having a really hard time with my voice right now, so I sound different. This topic is both sad but also empowering if you take in the truth and then use that to drive you toward your thing and to surround yourself with people who really value you. So one of the things that I think has been really hard is being obsessed with personal growth and self-improvement and holistic self-improvement. If you're around a lot of people who don't really value that, you actually not only aren't valued, you're actually avoided.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really sad and really lonely. And I remember early in my journey, I wrote an article called Your Identity and the Power of Self-Labels, and I traded in the identity and the label of alcoholic for bodybuilder. And all of a sudden, after I started to become obsessed with fitness and bodybuilding and nutrition and sleep, hydration, training, weight training, fitness modeling, fitness competitions, fitness coaching, some people valued me extremely, extremely, extremely highly. You were one of them. You thought I was the man.
I did think you were the man. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. And some people avoided me. And so the moment that I stopped drinking and I started lifting weights, all of a sudden, regardless of whether or not I changed internally as a human being, my intentions, so much things beneath the surface, all of a sudden, everyone who values fitness now values me a little more. Yeah. And everyone who avoids fitness now avoids me a little more. And it's just the truth. And I always say, don't be a rapper at a country concert and don't be a country singer at a rap concert. And the reason why is because you're not going to be valued at your true value. And so value is contextual. I tell the story about how we were at the top of Mount Wachusett. It's a fairly small mountain. But it was a really, really hot summer day many years ago. Emilia and I have climbed 6 mountains. And
many years ago, he says. This was 2 years ago. 3 years ago, Max.
No,
he says many years ago.
I think it was
1987.
1987,
I think it was.
I believe it was Mount Monadnock in 1976. No, but it was when Emilia and I, it was our first year into our relationship, so I know it was at least 4 years ago. But we forgot waters. And I remember this very visceral moment of I would pay $100 for a couple of waters right now. I wonder if anyone's selling waters up here. I'm so thirsty. This was a really bad idea. And I had that moment of value is contextual. The amount that you value water when you're swimming in water is much lower than how much you value water when you're in the desert or at the top of a mountain when you forgot your water and you're super dehydrated. And so value is super contextual, and unfortunately that's true for human beings as well. I would love to live in a world where everyone values everyone just for the humanity part, just for who you are on the inside, but that's just not how the economy works. It isn't. And if you go to a personal development event and you're into personal growth and you love systems and processes and habits and goals and reverse engineering success and intelligence and intellectual pursuits, you're going to value me very highly. But if you are someone who doesn't value any of those things, you're kind of going to ignore those topics completely and maybe even avoid me a little bit unconsciously.
Yeah, it's kind of a losing game.
It is.
It's kind of a losing game, and I wish I understood that earlier. Again, this isn't something I've really struggled with. I'm blessed where a lot of the people, I won't say a lot of the people, I still have people in my life that were from the core friendships. And by people, I mean one, really. but it's the person who Matt. I'm super close with Matt, and that's never been a question. I've lost other people for sure, but I also have that weird relationship with the fact that I'd rather lose someone than lose myself. I don't want to lose myself. You know how hard I've worked so hard to get to actually valuing myself. Man, I would have dreamed of valuing myself at the beginning of this journey. Yeah. I told you this the other day. I had a call with someone that saw my virtual presentation with Evan. They booked a free 30-minute call, and I was like, awesome, add value to this person. Maybe they want to talk about speaking. And he said, I found your presentation very valuable, but that's not why I want to talk to you today. And I was like, oh gosh, what have I done? And this person was a cardiologist. They've been a cardiologist for, at least 3 decades, if not 4. Very successful, had their own practice. They've been on the boards of all the stuff. And I'm thinking, we have done something, haven't we? And he said, I just wanted to book this call because I wanted to let you know how authentic you came across in your presentation. And just showering me with compliments and love. And again, that was weird for me.
Is this male or female?
Male. Yeah, very.
That's a bigger deal too, because
I'm
the father thing.
I'm searching for men to love me. I'm searching for male validation for sure, more than I ever realized. And it was just this weird. We have given presentations and speeches that we would never get that love from.
Oh, I know. Isn't it brutal?
Now, I'm not saying that you should get it everywhere. But it's no. I don't think I should get that everywhere.
No, I know. I don't think you should either. But it's sometimes it's the opposite. Even though you're very well intentioned. I mean, one of our speeches, we might as well have been made fun of the whole time.
We were.
That's really you were. Yeah.
In fact, I think we were.
Pure intentions and just trying to add value, and you're actually just being made fun of, and you don't even know it. That's really cruel. It's too bad.
I think
and honestly, egg on their face, because they're going to be the ones who end up realizing that this whole I don't give an F attitude, I'm going to make fun of this personal growth thing, is actually going to be wildly detrimental to their future.
Well, they just don't value it.
I know.
That's been
They might one day when they eat humble pie.
They might one day, and maybe they'll look back and say, oh, wow, looking back, that was actually more valuable than I was able to receive or I was able to sift through. But that has helped me more than I think I understood, is just realizing that a lot of people they just aren't going to value. You're going to go into some arenas where people don't value your success because of how you got it. And that's totally okay. That doesn't mean anything about you. But imagine whatever it is that you value and you're practicing and you're good at and you're putting time into and you're putting energy into, you're putting effort into, you're putting intention into. Imagine if there was a conference for the people who did what you did. You know how much you'd be valued? Even if you were behind other people in terms of your results, you'd be valued so much. You'd be valued so much. One of the best lessons I ever learned from a live event was not something I wrote down in a notebook. We went to a Brendan Burchard event. I remember I did a video of this in bed when we got home. We went to a Brendan Burchard event, and I said in this Instagram story, I think it was, isn't it weird how when you go to an event, everybody has a name tag? And you will start random conversations with people you've never met before because you know they value what you value. Because they have a name tag that says, I'm at the same event you are. But the second you walk out of that event and you see people that don't have name tags, you don't start random conversations with strangers because you don't know if they value what you value. That was one of the most profound lessons I've ever learned. Because unless there's a bubble above someone's head that says, I value what you value, you don't really know. But I think this is why it's easy to bro out with somebody who likes the gym when you like the gym. Because if they're in really good shape, they probably value fitness. And they probably appreciate you more than someone who doesn't value fitness. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting to me that many of us go our entire lives trying to find where we're valued, but we don't look at the people closest to us. Well, maybe that person will value me when blank, when I get X amount of this, X amount of that. It's like, no, I don't think so.
That's a losing game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's other people that would have valued you at the beginning of this.
You know what's ironic? When you actually leave and sail away from that person who doesn't value you, they actually will value you more, not less.
Yeah.
That's been very fascinating. There are people in the beginning who vehemently made fun of me when I left corporate and started a business. And I'm talking cruelty, like just awful. And over time, later on, some of those very people have reached back out and said, listen, I'm sorry I was such a dick, but don't read too far into this. Thank you so much for the semi-apology, right?
Yeah, a backhanded compliment.
But at the end of the day, I've had a lot of people who say, I always knew you'd make it. I remember I posted a video a while back that made it look like I was on TV, and I was actually in a back room with a hell of a green screen, and it was a city in the background, and this is back in my fitness modeling days, and some of the comments on that post were fascinating because they're like, oh, I always knew you'd make it and all this stuff. You were the very person talking shit behind my back. I don't even know. You've been detrimental to my emotional well-being way more than you can even imagine just by all the shit talking and crap that I've heard through the grapevine. And you know what's interesting is by the time people believe in you, you don't need them to.
I know.
That's the devastating part about starting. That's why people don't achieve their dreams. By the time you have enough evidence to where other people will actually believe in your dreams, you don't need them to anymore because now you're already there.
And you've attracted people who actually are into what you're doing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's why I tell my clients to start small. Coach for free at first. You'll get the identity and you'll attract other coaches, and then you'll learn and you'll attract the right people. Everyone wants to jump on a moving train. It's very important to understand that. And I think a lot of us are in social circles that are just wildly detrimental for us.
I agree.
And I have one client right now. I'll be brief about this, but she is starting a podcast. She is starting her own business. She's a business owner. She's had several businesses. And she's just on fire with taking these steps to just break free into the next level, pun intended. And we have this framework that Emilia created, Old World, Lonely Land, and New World. And every movie is this 3-act structure is what it's called if you've ever studied storytelling. And the character in the beginning is in the ordinary world, the old world, where things are fairly easy. They're in their comfort zone. They're going about their day-to-day life, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, some sort of tragedy happens, some sort of catalyst, whether it's Kevin's suicidal ideation at 26 or it's my car accident at 26. It kicks us into what's called the world of supernatural wonder. It kicks us into a call to action. It's massively painful, and it forces humble pie, and it gets you to reevaluate your existence. And the character, so Batman's a good example. His parents die, and then he decides to go away from all the fame and fortune and notoriety or whatever. And then he goes on this exploration, this adventure to becoming Batman. And then he tries to save people. And then he's in New World eventually, where he actually becomes the man that is his own hero and the guide and all that stuff. And again, if you're not a Batman fan, you don't value what I'm saying right now. And that's the point of the episode. NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes. Here's my point. There's Old World, there's Lonely Land, and there's New World. And Lonely Land is basically you just cut ties with the old world, and all of them are now uncertain about you, and they're lashing out and or talking behind your back and or just completely indifferent. That's probably the larger percentage of the population. And then you're in Lonely Land by yourself, and you're not in the new crew yet because those people are too far ahead. They've already got momentum and they're in their stuff and they're business owners and blah, blah, blah. But you're definitely not in corporate anymore or whatever. And again, this is a metaphor. So you're in this lonely land chasm where no one believes in you. You don't know if this is the right path. It's dark. You've never been here before, so you're failing constantly. It's really quite alarmingly terrible. It's really, really bad. But if you can stick with it and you cannot go back to old world, that's the key. Because this person that I'm referring to, she's getting reached out to and lashed out at and all this stuff. And I said, you got to understand those people are super toxic. Think about it. There's 5 people in her life that are not toxic, that are wonderful people. And I know all the names and I'm one of them and I'm grateful for that. I said, think about how we treat you. Think about how those 5 people treat you. Mm. We haven't lashed out once. We've never once said you can't do it. We've never once said it was stupid. We've never once made fun of you behind your back. We've never been cruel to you. We've never been unjust to you. We've never lashed out or been triggered. We just want to see you win. And energetically, you know that. These other people are always going to react that way. They're clinging to certainty, and they don't know how not to react that way. You have to get away from that. Otherwise, you'll never get to New World, and you'll never achieve your goals and dreams. And this person is wonderful, trying to do good things in the world, and it doesn't matter. Everyone around her is freaking out a little bit internally, and they don't know what else to do but to claw their way back to certainty. And sometimes the way they do that is really cruel. And I know that everyone is going to resonate with what I'm saying right now because this is the way it works. This is the way it works. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And when you're breaking free and really crushing it, and you're really breaking into your true potential and you're really getting after it, heading towards a new world, you better believe it's going to make everyone around you a little uncomfortable. Mm. And now they have to reevaluate their relationship with you and reevaluate whether or not they're going to be successful. And they're fearful that you're going to leave them behind. And so they have to find another way to get their claws in you and all this kind of stuff. And so just understand it's an energy, and don't try to change the people around you in the sense of I'm going to try to change Kevin. Yeah. Instead, change the people around you and surround yourself with Kevin. Right? And that's really the point. And the truth is, I tried the other way for so many years, and it just never worked, brother.
See, I never did.
It never worked.
I remember
That's why
telling
you got here, dude. You never would have gotten here otherwise.
Well, I remember telling you, I was like, dude, the people that those people kind of suck, man. Like, those people around you kind of suck, and they're not going to be here. There's no version of the future where they're in your life. There's no possibility.
I know. That was so obvious to you.
I know.
For me, and you were right.
Well, and there's certain things that have been supremely obvious to you that I couldn't see if you painted it on my forehead when I looked in the mirror. So I'm not trying to make that point, but there's a little piece of me that I don't want to say I feel guilty. I don't know. I don't feel like I ever had people pulling me down. I genuinely said this the other day. I've always been the underdog. People root for the underdog. People try to help the underdog. I was the one who held myself back more than anybody else. Nobody told me I couldn't do it. Really, less people. There were some people. But nobody really told me I couldn't do it. Nobody said they didn't believe in me. It wasn't that. For me, it was, I'm afraid I'm going to let you down. Don't believe in me too much. I'm afraid I'm going to let you down. I don't want you to believe in me too much. So I think my journey's been different. I think my journey's been, it's the opposite. But it comes with its own stuff. It's just, I don't think for me it was ever really that.
What's its own stuff? Because for me, it was always that. That was the hardest part for me.
I think it's just fear of disappointing people. We had a group coaching session right before we recorded this. And you were talking about how you get nervous sometimes when you meet groups of people because you're afraid that they're not going to like you and you're going to trigger them and they're going to villainize you. And I was thinking to myself, is that ever going to go away for you?
Depends on the room.
I'm not afraid not to add value anymore. I think that's why I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all before group coaching anymore.
Not group coaching, but you would be if you were outside of your...
Yeah.
You would be for a 10,000 person speech, especially if it was all doctors and.
Well, I don't think I would do it. In fairness, why
yeah.
do you want me? What are we talking about? You want to talk about podcasting? Like, okay, cool. If we're talking about anything else, I feel like there's probably better people to speak.
Well, the fundamental understanding underneath that is where's your pain come from? So Kev's pain came from not feeling smart enough or good enough or capable enough. My pain always came from social. Friends, family, that kind of thing. And it makes sense. That's our exile. That's our wound. So we both have a wound. It's just a different type of wound. And that's why we've learned so much from each other.
It's so wild. Again, whatever it is you believe in, I don't know how this all happened, but I'm an underdog and you're villainized for being great at stuff. It's just interesting how this has worked out the way it has. It's very strange to me.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I still don't know fully how we got here. I was thinking of that the other day. 7 years. We are coming up on it'll be a decade before you know it that we've been doing this. I have no clue how we survived as long as we have. No idea. I think I blocked out most of the years. I think I probably had to. But that's not the point of this. Yeah, I don't know, maybe on the opposite end, you don't feel valued everywhere you go. You feel more valued than people can recognize, but maybe they're not holding you back.
Kev, one of the reasons why I think you never felt not believed in or not valued is because you always left rooms where you weren't valued. You avoided rooms where you weren't valued. And you also didn't surround yourself with toxic people.
I don't feel like I owe it to anybody.
Yeah. No, but that's the point is you didn't surround yourself with toxic people.
I don't like toxic people.
I know, but you got to understand how rare, like, dude.
Well, I think it goes to the root of I'm not afraid to be alone.
Yep.
To a detriment. I mean, we joke about, I lived in New Hampshire an hour and a half away from anybody who cared about me, and I was just suffering. It was brutal. I remember during my bodybuilding prep, I got food poisoning, and I was lying on the bathroom floor throwing up. And when you're doing a bodybuilding prep, you have nothing to throw up, okay? I was lying on the floor thinking to myself, if I was to die here, nobody would know. Nobody would have any clue because I don't talk to anybody. I have like 3 friends. I don't talk to my family that often. It was a very weird time. And then I got a cheat meal and I got pancakes after that, which I was happy about.
Nice.
But
that's the thing. You've done a good job at changing the people you're around, not changing them.
I've tried.
But when it didn't work, you moved on. And you changed who they were.
What I learned was when you try to change someone who doesn't want to be changed, you get villainized anyway, so you might as well just leave. I'd rather be missed than villainized. If I leave, maybe you'll miss me. If I put my time, energy, effort, and focus into trying to change someone who doesn't want to be changed, I look like an asshole. I look selfish, and I look like I don't value you for who you are. And the truth of the matter is, that is kind of true. Just like you don't value me for who I am. It doesn't mean I don't value you. It means I don't know if I can spend the same amount of time with you as I once did because I need to find something that's more aligned than this is. But I went through that stage, for sure. For sure. I had someone in my life I cared about deeply that I tried to get, these are the books to read, these are the TED Talks to watch, this is the thing, this is the thing, this is the thing, and it just never happened. It just never happened. And eventually, I just stopped spending time with that person. And then it died. Then the friendship died. And I most likely will never talk to that person again. It sucks. I think about it all the time. It makes me sad. But I also know it's nostalgia is a very convenient emotion because it reminds you of all the good times. It doesn't really remind you of the bad times. It's very easy. You leave a job, you remember the paycheck and a couple of things you liked. You don't usually remember the thing that you hated that made you quit the job in the first place.
Yep.
Relationship, same thing. You send the final text, yeah, it's done. Or the final call, it's done. And then you're like, it wasn't that bad, though. It wasn't that bad. And then a week later, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't emotionally jump back into it. That was horrible. My goodness. But nostalgia is a very tricky emotion because you don't get nostalgia for bad things, I don't think. I think you only get nostalgia for good things.
Agreed. Last piece.
Please.
I think one of the things that I didn't understand, and hopefully anyone watching or listening to this might be something that lands differently than it ever has. Relationships are built on a common core value or a common goal. When I was in high school, I loved video games, and I played one of the biggest video games at the time was Halo. All my friends also love Halo. Is that because we were destined to be friends, or is it because we all love Halo? Is it just a coincidence that every one of Kevin's friends happened to love baseball? Right? Yeah. It makes sense. But here's the problem. When I'm no longer a teenager playing video games, and a lot of those people still are, it was Halo that bonded us. It wasn't... When our core values evolve, every relationship in our life has to evolve because all relationships are built on core values. I don't know if people really... I was never taught that.
Same. I don't even know what core values were.
That's what I'm saying. In college, I loved to party, and I loved trying to get good grades, and I loved video games. And so my roommates all loved to party, loved getting good grades, and loved video games. It's just... And those friendships were built through common experiences in alignment with common core values and common goals. The goals were academics. The core values were fun and partying and video games. And we used to have tournaments, and we'd play Super Smash Brothers, and we'd play Halo, and we'd play Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And we'd drink, and we'd go out, and we'd have fun. And you just eventually realize, holy crap, these relationships that are not built on core values that I still value are never going to last.
Yeah.
Half my friends in high school, I can name names, they loved Halo as well. We all used to go to LAN parties all the time, local area network for the younger people, before gaming was online. How old are we? But if personal growth and self-improvement and personal development and professional development are not a part of your core values, you will never value me at my true value because that's who I am. Yeah. That's who I want to be. That's what I walk, talk, sleep, and breathe every single day. And you just can't value me at level 10 if you don't value those things at level 10. If you want to be more successful and more fulfilled, I could be your best friend. If you don't want that, and you really want to hang out and party and play video games, I'm not going to be able to join you. And that's fine. You do you. I partied. I played video games. I get it, right? I would love that for a weekend. But it's not in alignment anymore. And so I hope that frees everyone. I don't have a lot in common with a lot of people anymore. And the truth is, it hurts and it's sad. And you can hear it in my voice. But I either have to give up my goals and dreams and my values, or I have to sail away. And I did. I chose the courageous choice of sailing away. And I know that some people are very sad about that.
Yeah. But you're not... You'd be more sad if you didn't do it. And that's the hard thing. And that's the hard thing to explain. And
if I were to see some of those people, not all of them, if I were to see some of those people, I'd be pumped. I'd give them a huge hug. I miss you so much. This is awesome. How you been? It would be nothing but love on my end. Not all of them. Right,
Judo chop to the throat.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple of them.
I can think of at least one that would
I'm thinking of them right now.
Be a walk right past, right?
Yeah. All right. This is a deep one. I want to give a shout out to all of the members. We don't have a name yet for Group 15 because it hasn't been named yet. But shout out to Mo, Linda, Richard, Matt, Mitchell, Anna, Odette, Eliza, Caitlin, and Cynthia.
And Becky.
And Becky. Oh, yes.
And
Strong
Becky.
work. Yeah, Becky. Strong work. So shout out to all of you who joined group coaching. We actually went with 11 this round because people were getting in the last minute, and they gave us a verbal yes. We said your spot's locked, and then they delayed in their response, but we said, look, we said you're in, so you're in. So yeah, shout out to everybody. We jeffed you. Shout out to everybody in group coaching. 15 rounds. It's wild to me. We've been doing this for almost 4 years. Truly mind-blowing. I don't know where time goes, but thank you to anybody who has been through the group. If you didn't get in this group and you want to get in the next group, which starts in 90-ish days, email myself or Alan, Kevin or Alan at nextleveluniverse.com, or shoot us a message on Instagram. We're compiling a list of people who said they wanted to join but couldn't get in. So please let us know.
Absolutely. Group coaching we've worked on it. The amount of time and effort that we've put into making this program as valuable as possible is, it's 3.5 years at this stage. 3.5 years of learning, iterating, improving, learning, iterating, improving. So thank you. Shout out to Group 15. Let's rock and roll. We had our first session tonight, and I'm excited. And if you want in on Group 16, please reach out. The website's not updated for the new group yet, but it will be soon. Just reach out, email Kevin or myself. The emails will be in the show notes.
And if you want to make sure that you're growing every single day a little bit, getting closer to the next level every single day, make sure you subscribe on whatever podcast platform you are listening to us on, and subscribe on YouTube. I know we do an episode every day, but it's very easy to fall out of the habit of listening, and getting a gentle little Next Level You dropped another episode might be a good reminder to help us get back on track. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep your social circle aligned. Next Level Nation.